This is the bad three, Amendment 60, 61, and Proposition 101, in plain English. Colorado, it's a great place to live. From the mining days to the homesteaders, to the birth of the ski industry, to the Broncos winning the Super Bowl, Coloradans have come together to build a great state. Great schools, connected to great libraries, connected to great hospitals, connected to beautiful parks, connected to bunches of breweries and other great industries, all connected by people who saw mountains not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Hard work, good investments, and thinking big built Colorado. Enter the bad three. The bad three are 3 ballot measures Coloradans will vote on this November. They would put the brakes on all of this. First, Amendment 60. This one is about property taxes. Here's how it works. When your community wants to build a new school, it has to raise money to pay for it. This happens as part of a local election. Basically, local residents go to each other and ask, "Hey, I'll pay a little bit more to build this school. Will you?" If enough people agree to pay a little bit more, then the small increase in taxes goes into a pot that ends up being the money to build the school. Along comes Amendment 60. It does a couple of things. First, it wipes out the decision your community made to pay a bit more to build the school. Basically, your vote didn't count. Second, it would cut in half the money your community can pay to keep the school running. To add insult to injury, it says the state has to pay the other half. We'll get to how that's a problem in a minute. Oh yeah, one more thing. It's going to cost all of us more money by making places like airports and colleges pay taxes they've never had to pay in the past. We still need these things, so we'll get socked with higher fees to cover this. Still with me? Okay, now Amendment 61. This one is about borrowing money to build things. Here's how it works. People drive to their jobs on roads the state builds. Good roads get people places faster, safer, and happier. Bad roads mean more traffic, road rage, and expensive repair bills. To build roads, we need money, lots of money. To get this money, we borrow it over time. For example, when you buy a house, you pay it off over a long time so you can afford it, and you live in it while you're paying for it. Just as few people can afford to buy a house up front with cash, the state can't afford to build roads without borrowing. Amendment 61 wouldn't let the state borrow any money, at all, period. Get it? No money means no roads, means no jobs, no tourists. It means a very different Colorado. Oh, one more thing. It's not just the state that can't borrow. Borrowing by local communities would be hampered too. Now it's the last of the bad three, Proposition 101. This one is about how we pay for the things that make Colorado great. Proposition 101 would cut our income taxes by 25%. Sounds like a good thing, right? But let's look at what it really means. This pie is all the money Colorado has to spend on things like education, colleges, courts and prisons, healthcare, and more. Prop 101 makes our pie smaller. Much, much smaller. Let's see how that looks. Colleges, prisons, courts, hospitals. Suddenly, Colorado doesn't look so great anymore. Proposition 101 does something else crazy. You know the money you pay every year to register your car? This money goes towards keeping up our roads. Under Proposition 101, those vehicle registration fees would go back to what your great-great-grandparents paid to register their Model T in 1919. Oh, and remember how we said we'd come back to Amendment 60? It would cut in half the money your community can pay to keep the school running. To add insult to injury, it says the state has to pay the other half. Prop 101 requires the state to pay all the money that would be cut from schools. Let's look at our pie and see where that money would come from. Something tells me that's not gonna work. Whew, that was a lot. People worked hard to build Colorado into a great state. The bad three, Amendments 60, 61, and Prop 101, would roll all this back, threaten our economy, cost us all jobs. We can't let that happen. Vote no on Amendments 60, 61, and Proposition 101. To learn more, go to stopthebad3.com.